Hi everybody, welcome back to All Right Art with Mr. Sorvey. Today we're going to continue with our SculptGL fish assignment. Today we'll be working on the facial features, trying to get the eye and the gills and the mouth all done with a couple tools that should be familiar from our previous projects and a few ideas that are a little bit new. First thing I want to focus on today is the creation of the eye. Now, the round shape of the eye is one of those things that's really hard to do online or even in real drawing. So I'm going to use the tool of my masking instead to try to get the shape to match what I'm seeing on my example. I'm going to start by putting a little spot here about where I would be seeing it on my fish. Now I'm going to invert my masking and change the radius slightly so that I can create the shape around that eye, which is a little trench that I'm seeing here. And then I'm going to use that tool to bring in some roundness. And I don't want to overdo it, but it's pretty easy to get a pretty round shape because I'm using a rounded brush in the mask. My next step will be to take my crease tool or my negative brush tool and to use this masked off area to just create a sort of rounded shape around where the eye goes. The crease is particularly pronounced underneath the eye, and so that's where I'm going to spend most of my attention, but I will be bringing it around a little bit. Now I'm going to invert my masking so that I can get to the center of the eye, which is where I want to get that sort of rounded shape. I'm going to use my inflate tool to do that, making sure that I have my radius set so it's going to be only working on the area inside the eye, and making sure that my intensity is set a little bit low so if I do too much, I can back off pretty easily. All right. So here, it looks like my radius was set a little bit too low. So I'm going to undo that. And I'm going to try a slightly higher radius with that same intensity. The idea here is that we want the shape of the tool to do most of the work and not the actual hand. All right, I'm happy with that. Next, I'm going to use my crease tool to create the gill shape that goes behind the eye and kind of touches this fin, as well as the mouth. I'm going to do a little bit here, live for you guys to see. And then since I have such a short video record time, I'm going to actually go do a little work off camera and come back when I'm done. So that's how I'm going to get started. And I'm going to deepen my line so that it looks the way I want it to. I've got a little trench right here that goes from the front of where the eye stretches across and connects to the top of the fish. That'll be part of my visible creases. And the last thing that I'm going to do is the mouth. I like to start with a pretty low radius and a low intensity just to kind of figure out where my shape is going to be. I can then go back and kind of deepen these things in. And the drag tool, or the crease tool, will do a pretty good job of riding the line that I already set up without creating too much of a new space. All right, I'm getting there. I'm going to go work off camera for a second and come back. My last step is going to be to use my inflate tool to bring a little bit of three-dimensional effect to what I have here. I can see those structures and I can't really tell if they're on the surface or if they are something that is just visible through the skin. But for the purposes of this assignment, I'm going to just show it as a piece of the process. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm going to make sure I save. I'm going to go to the save.stl or SGL format, and I will be continuing this on the next step, which is going to be painting and texturing.